Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me and listen well, because what I'm about to say could change the entire trajectory of your life. Success does not come to those who wait. It does not come to those who hesitate. It does not come to those who dream but refuse to move. Success bows to action, and if you are waiting for the perfect moment, let me tell you the truth, the perfect moment does not exist. Success is not reserved for the most intelligent, the most talented, or even the most experienced. It belongs to those who take action. Far too many people believe that success is a matter of luck, circumstances, or fate, but the truth is success bows to movement. It rewards those who step forward, those who take risks, and those who are willing to do what others are afraid to do. No matter how great your ideas are, no matter how big your dreams may be, if you do not take action, nothing will change. The world is full of people with potential, but potential means nothing without execution. People often fall into the trap of waiting for the right time. They tell themselves they need more knowledge, more money, more connections, or more confidence before they begin. But waiting only leads to more waiting. There will always be reasons to delay, always be obstacles in the way, and always be fears lurking in the back of your mind. The truth is, the right time never comes. The only time you truly have is right now. Those who succeed are the ones who understand this simple fact. They move despite uncertainty, they act despite fear, and they make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. Action is the great separator between those who dream and those who achieve. You can have all the ambition in the world, but without action, it is meaningless. A person who takes small, consistent steps every day will always outpace the person who has big dreams but remains frozen in hesitation. The most successful people in any field are not necessarily the most gifted. They are the ones who dared to take the leap. They are the ones who knocked on doors, made mistakes, failed, learned, adjusted, and kept going. They refuse to sit on the sidelines while others play the game. There is a direct connection between action and opportunities. The more you move, the more doors open. The more you try, the more you learn. The more you show up, the more people notice. When you take action, you put yourself in a position to receive opportunities that would have never come to you otherwise. Many people look at successful individuals and assume they were simply in the right place at the right time, but in reality, they created their own opportunities by constantly putting themselves out there, taking risks, and staying persistent. The act of doing generates momentum, and momentum is what leads to breakthroughs. One of the biggest barriers to action is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish. But fear loses its power when you move forward despite it. The moment you step into action, you begin to realize that fear was just an illusion, a mental construct designed to keep you stuck. Every successful person has faced fear, but they did not let it stop them. Instead, they used it as fuel to push forward. They understood that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a necessary part of it. Each setback, each mistake, and each rejection is a lesson that moves you closer to victory. Taking action is not always comfortable, but comfort is the enemy of progress. Growth happens when you challenge yourself, when you push past limitations, and when you force yourself to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't is simple. Winners show up and do the work regardless of how they feel. They don't wait for motivation, they create it. They don't wait for conditions to be perfect, they adjust and move forward. They don't allow distractions to derail them, they stay focused and committed. When you take action, you develop confidence. Confidence does not come from thinking or planning, it comes from doing. The more you take action, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable. Confidence is built through experience, through trial and error, through stepping into the unknown and realizing that you can handle whatever comes your way. Those who struggle with self-doubt often do so because they remain in a cycle of inaction. The moment you start taking steps forward, even small ones, you begin to break free from doubt and step into your true potential. Success does not wait for anyone. It does not reward those who hesitate, those who procrastinate, or those who make excuses. It rewards the doers, the movers, the action takers. It is not about being perfect. It is about being willing. Willing to try, willing to fail, willing to learn, and willing to keep going. Every great achievement in history was the result of someone taking action, not knowing exactly how things would turn out, but moving forward anyway. The world does not belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who take action. Overthinking is one of the greatest killers of progress. It traps people in a cycle of hesitation, making even the simplest decisions feel overwhelming. Instead of moving forward, overthinkers analyze every possibility, every outcome, and every potential mistake until they become paralyzed by their own thoughts. The mind becomes so cluttered with what-ifs and maybes that action feels impossible. While planning and preparation are valuable, excessive thinking leads to inaction, and inaction leads to missed opportunities. People often believe that by thinking longer and harder, they will make better decisions, but the opposite is usually true. The more someone overthinks, the more doubts begin to creep in. They start questioning their abilities, their plans, and their chances of success. They get caught up in hypothetical failures that haven't even happened yet. This mental spiral creates fear of making the wrong choice, fear of failure, fear of embarrassment. As a result, they do nothing at all, convincing themselves they are being cautious when in reality, they are just stuck. The longer someone remains in this state, the harder it becomes to break free from it. Overthinking creates a habit of hesitation, and hesitation quickly turns into procrastination. Instead of taking action and learning through experience, overthinkers stay on the sidelines, convincing themselves they need more time to decide, more time to prepare, or more time to feel ready. But readiness is an illusion. No one ever feels 100% ready. The only way to gain clarity and confidence is to step forward and take action even when uncertainty is present. Overthinking also drains mental energy. The brain was designed to solve problems, not to dwell on them endlessly. When someone spends hours, days, or even weeks over analyzing a decision, they burn through their energy without making any real progress. By the time they finally reach a conclusion, they are often too mentally exhausted to act on it. Meanwhile, someone else with less hesitation has already taken action, made mistakes, adjusted, and moved forward. The difference is not intelligence. It is the willingness to act despite uncertainty. Many people believe that by thinking through every detail, they will avoid failure. But the truth is, failure is inevitable at some point. No amount of thinking can prevent every mistake. Every successful person has experienced failure, learned from it, and kept going. Overthinkers, on the other hand, try to avoid failure by never starting, which is the greatest failure of all. Taking action, even if it leads to mistakes, provides valuable lessons that no amount of thinking can replace. Growth happens through doing, not just contemplating. Perfectionism is a major contributor to overthinking. People tell themselves they need the perfect plan, the perfect strategy, or the perfect conditions before they begin, but perfection is just another excuse for inaction. Nothing will ever be perfect, and those who succeed understand this. They take imperfect action, make necessary adjustments, and improve along the way. Perfectionists, on the other hand, stay stuck in a cycle of overanalyzing and second-guessing, watching opportunities pass them by because they were too afraid to act. Overthinking also robs people of their confidence. The more they analyze, the more they convince themselves of potential failure. They start doubting their skills, their ideas, and their ability to handle challenges. Confidence does not come from excessive thinking, it comes from action. When someone takes action, they prove to themselves that they are capable. Even small steps forward build momentum and self-belief. The longer someone remains trapped in overthinking, the more their confidence erodes, making it even harder to take that first step. The most successful people in the world are not those who overthink every move. They are the ones who take action, learn from experience, and keep moving forward. They understand that hesitation is the enemy of progress and that clarity comes from doing, not from excessive thinking. Overthinking creates mental barriers that don't actually exist in reality, making simple decisions feel impossible. The key to overcoming it is to recognize when thoughts are becoming an obstacle and to shift from thinking to doing. Comfort is one of the most deceptive traps in life. It feels safe, familiar, and easy, but beneath the surface, it is the very thing that keeps people stuck. When someone prioritizes comfort over challenge, they unknowingly build a prison around themselves, a prison where growth, progress, and success become impossible. Comfort seduces people into believing that staying where they are is good enough. But in reality, it is the reason they never reach their full potential. The moment someone chooses comfort over discomfort, they choose stagnation over transformation. Growth only happens when a person is willing to step outside of what is familiar and embrace the unknown. Every great achievement, every major breakthrough, and every significant transformation requires some level of discomfort. This is because growth demands change, and change is never easy. It forces people to develop new skills, face new challenges, and push past old limitations. The process is often uncomfortable, but discomfort is proof that progress is being made. Without it, life remains the same, and the dreams that once seemed possible start to fade into the background. People who refuse to step outside their comfort zones often convince themselves that they are playing it safe, but in reality, they are playing it small. They settle for less than they are capable of, avoiding risks that could lead to massive rewards. They avoid challenges that could make them stronger, and they reject opportunities that could change their lives. This is why so many people remain stuck in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and routines that offer no excitement or fulfillment. They choose the illusion of security over the possibility of greatness. The problem with comfort is that it leads to complacency. When a person stops challenging themselves, they stop growing. They lose the drive to improve, the hunger to achieve, and the discipline to push forward. Complacency leads to mediocrity, and mediocrity is the slow death of potential. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who avoid discomfort. They are the ones who chase it. They understand that the only way to become better is to put themselves in situations that force them to grow, adapt, and evolve. Fear plays a major role in keeping people trapped in their comfort zones. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, and the fear of the unknown prevent them from taking the necessary steps toward growth. But fear is simply a test. It is there to see how badly a person wants to succeed. Those who allow fear to control them will remain stuck, while those who push through it will find new levels of strength and confidence. Fear never goes away completely, but it loses its power when someone refuses to let it dictate their choices. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is that they will take action when they feel ready. But readiness is a myth. No one ever feels fully prepared to take on new challenges because growth requires stepping into unfamiliar territory. The key is to act before you feel ready, to embrace discomfort as part of the process. and to trust that you will figure things out along the way. Those who wait for the perfect moment end up waiting forever, while those who move forward despite uncertainty are the ones who make progress. The body and mind adapt to whatever environment they are placed in. When a person constantly pushes themselves beyond their comfort zone, discomfort becomes normal. They develop resilience, strength, and the ability to handle greater challenges. But when they choose comfort, they become weaker, more fearful, and less capable of handling adversity. Life will always present obstacles.